From sea to sea, Canada is a diverse country in geography, in culture, and in agriculture. Texas farmers and ranchers got to see this firsthand on a whirlwind tour of our neighbors to the north.
They're hard-working folks. Every farm ranch that we've gone to, you can tell the people have got their hands dirty and their boots dirty, and they enjoy what they're doing.
The agricultural partnership between the two nations runs deep. The vast majority of crops and livestock raised in Canada will be shipped outside its borders, and their largest trading partner by far is the U.S. It's no wonder that wherever the Texans visited, the North American Free Trade Agreement came up.
We build things together. It's not just trade. A product can cross the border 2 or 3 times before it gets a finished product, and it could end up in the United States or Canada. It sort of speaks well for all of us of what agriculture does to both of our economies.
Over the 9-day trip, Texas farmers and ranchers had the chance to talk face-to-face with agricultural officials across Canada, including the Assistant Deputy Minister for Agriculture and Agri-Foods Canada, the Ministers of Agriculture for the provinces of Ontario and Alberta, as well as many representing Canada's top crops, like canola, beef, soybeans, and wheat. Another topic discussed was Canada's supply management or quota system. This guarantees income for Canadian farmers who raise dairy, broilers, chicken, and eggs by controlling the amount that's produced. During the trip, Texas growers visited farms in 4 of Canada's 10 provinces. They saw the diversity of crops grown in the country, from strawberries to canola to cattle, and even one of the most iconic, maple syrup.
We're making syrup in March and April. There's a 4-week period in there when the sap runs, and we're running really hard because we make a whole year's crop. In that 4-week period, we might have 20 days when the sap runs.
150 acres of trees, 7,400 taps, 28 miles of pipe. The sap extracted from the trees is 2% sugar. The Fortune family uses reverse osmosis and boiling to concentrate it down to 67%. Canola is one of Canada's top crops. The oilseed was developed in Canada. The name literally means Canada oil. Canada's other major row crops include wheat, barley, and soybeans. Canadian farmers only have about 110 frost-free days to grow their crops. The Texans had a chance to see one of Canada's state-of-the-art grain elevators run by G3 Canada just outside of Winnipeg, Manitoba. The elevator can hold 34,000 tons of grain. Village Farms, just south of Vancouver, British Columbia, grows 12 different varieties of tomatoes, over 110 acres covered by 4 greenhouses, including Delta 1, the largest greenhouse in North America. During the peak of their growing season, they pick about 500,000 pounds of tomatoes a day, all grown 100% hydroponically. Just to the east of British Columbia is the province of Alberta, Canadian cattle country. Cole and Jill Harvey raise award-winning purebred Herefords, Simmentals, and Charolais not far from Calgary.
Annually, we market our bulls in March to commercial breeders. So we sell about 90 bulls a year, the 3 breeds, at our annual production sale.
Cattle in the western provinces of Canada are mainly finished on barley instead of corn. Canadians export about 60% of their roughly 12.3 million head of cattle.
Snow starts flying sometimes October, and it will disappear in April, May. So you're needing to make sure that you get enough of your forages collected.
The Texans were intrigued by an afternoon visit to GrowSafe, who've developed a sophisticated system to track weight gain and eating behaviors of livestock using RFID tags.
It's a matter of time where I think that this will be a competitive advantage for not only the feedlots but the cow-calf people, the stocker people.
The Texas farmers and ranchers also visited the Canadian Cattle Identification Agency. Animal ID is mandatory in Canada, mainly due to exporting most of their livestock. The Calgary School of Veterinary Medicine was next.
This is the one that the new Texas Tech Veterinary School is being modeled after. Not as much classroom work, much more hands-on experience with other veterinarians.
The vet school was created to help train more large animal vets in rural Canada. Half Diamond Farms near Bowden, Alberta raises 2 purebred breeds of sheep, Charolais and Romanoff. The Romanoff is considered a maternal breed. They lamb at about 400%, but aren't good for meat.
So we cross the two. The females are good commercial ewes and the males are really good slaughter lambs. So they complement each other very well.
The last morning of the trip was spent touring the port of Vancouver. This port on the western side of the country is the largest bulk port in North America, including 5 grain terminals exporting over 60 million tons of grain.
Many years ago, all we need to do was work on our own farm. Now we've got to look across our fence row so to speak, even to the next county, even to the next state, even to the next country. And we trade with everybody, they trade with us, and we've got to see how other countries do things.
After a week spent in the Great White North, Texas farmers brought a lot back to the Lone Star State. The importance of trade, a camaraderie from working on the land that no national border can separate, and pride in growing food, fiber, and fuel in the U.S. For TFB News, Ed Wolf, Canada.